A lot of people wonder what's the cheat code to getting wealthy. But if I told you the secret is right there in front of your face and it's been in front of your face for a long, long time, you probably wouldn't believe me. So today we brought an expert on to talk about this thing, and it's about math, y'all. That's right, math. All this math. We got our good brother Akil Parker waiting in the back room with us in the green room, where we're going to get into it. Welcome to Black Wealth Rebels Freedom Fridays. It's me and Jimmy. I'm a little flustered right now because Jimmy was assaulting me in the back with all kinds of
Hey, yo,
slanderous
come
stuff.
on, man.
With all
Jimmy,
kind of
I'm
slanderous
assaulting you in the
stuff.
back. Yo, you out of pocket right now. Let's just go. Let's just go with that. You are out of pocket, beloved. That's all I'm gonna
Well,
say, man.
people, happy Friday. Listen, happy Friday, y'all.
Happy
How's
New
everybody
Year.
doing?
Happy New Year. This is the
Happy New Year.
first Friday live in the new year. So happy New Year for
And
everybody joining.
also, happy Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa ended
Yes.
yesterday, but I want to put it out there. Put it out there.
Yeah, whatever you
So,
celebrate, man. Happy all that.
Jim, I don't think you celebrate Kwanzaa, do you?
Well,
You're
you don't
not
want to
really
get it.
into it.
So I appreciate
Because every
Kwanzaa.
time I say it, you be
No,
throwing it to the left.
I don't take it to the left, Pauls. I just make sure that I want to make sure I acknowledge all of our brothers and sisters that support us. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get into
The politics.
I don't COINTELPRO is dangerous to our people.
Lord
So
have mercy.
so if you want me to tie Kwanzaa in with COINTELPRO, I can, but I don't. That's for a whole different show.
Okay, well, if you're going to tie in Kwanzaa to COINTELPRO, make sure you tie Christmas and Easter in the COINTELPRO as well.
Oh, I
I'm
don't
just saying. I'm just saying to be
listen,
fair.
man. Listen, man. The goat said, "I don't believe in none of that shit. Your facts are backwards." You know what I'm saying? So we gonna leave it there, man. You ain't getting me with that. I don't care about none of that.
All right, so you starting the year off, man. It's 2026. Got any plans?
Yes, man. Stack sats or die trying. But my overall plan is to try to get out there and do more for more people, man. My goal is to serve. I want to help as many people as possible in 2026. I want to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward as the Black Wealth Rebels and community side or by the hood, and just do more of what we already do. And January is shaping up to be pretty excellent, man. By the way, it's funny. I got a couple messages today from folks like, "Yo, what we doing tomorrow morning?" And I'm like, nothing. They like, what about Saturday school? I was like, well, we don't do January, it starts in February. But the fact that you asked me is powerful in itself. That means people are looking forward to it. So
Absolutely.
we're gonna have a
Absolutely.
whole, so we get to start the year off with some Saturday school. So this is gonna be dope, man. But I'm excited about what we got. I don't want to let the cat out the bag with everything that we have planned. But what I can say is there is already two events in January, three events actually. The 16th, the
16th.
16th, 17th, and the 19th.
I don't know
Right.
about the 17th, but I know about the 16th and the 19th, I think.
So the 16th is our event that we're having. I
On
don't even have
Friday.
an address yet. We have an event on Friday evening.
The address is
Um,
1501 North Broad Street.
1501 North Broad. That is sacred land. We'll be on sacred land.
Absolutely.
We'll be on sacred land, 1501 North Broad Street. Dr. Reverend Leon Sullivan. We're speaking at an event there on the 16th. As a matter of fact, it's our event. Our sister
Yep.
Courtney and Liz will be there as well. We're speaking about MLK and real estate. And watch how we tie this together. You'll see that. That's on the 16th. The 17th, we'll be in Cherry Hill, New Jersey with Jeff Moore.
Oh,
Yes, Jeff. Shout to Jeff. Jeff
shout out to
invited
Jeff. Yes.
Kamari and I to speak on the
Yes.
17th. That's in Cherry Hill.
Yes.
He's having an event. He's actually rented out Maggiano's. So,
Man,
that's in
listen,
Cherry Hill.
I love Maggiano salmon, so I'm definitely going to sneak a piece of that.
Yeah, man, I'm chicken parm and Maggiano's, but I digress. Sorry, so
Okay.
that's the 17th. The 19th, Coffee, Creams, and Dreams. That is on Martin Luther King Day. Speaking there as well for I Be Big. So,
And
January is already shaping up, man.
and for those of you who are not from Philly, Coffee Creams and Dreams is a black-owned coffee shop in the
Yes, it
downtown
is.
section of Philadelphia. So as we get more information, we're going to put it out there. Hopefully, some of y'all can pull up.
Yes, and for everybody that's in the village, I want to salute to you. As you guys can see, content has been dropping in the village literally every day. And those in the
Sometimes
village I
multiple
know
times a
because
day.
folks, yeah, multiple times a day at this point. So there's a lot of folks in the village that have been commenting and participating in it. So the village growth is amazing. We want to see it to continue to grow. It's free to get in the village, so make sure to share with family and friends. We do have paid tiers, you get a little bit more, but it's free to get in. The baseline is free.
Yeah.
So make sure you share that with family or friends because we're looking to build a true community of like-minded folks that are looking to build and grow, Paul. So that's that. With that being said, I'm excited about tonight's conversation, man.
Absolutely, man.
We got one of our brothers in here, man. This brother's a genius, man. I have nothing but great things to say about him, man. I probably promote him more than he promotes himself. I'm always talking about the work that he's doing.
Absolutely. So
Always sharing his content.
we played him last Friday, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we
been
did.
cooking.
See, I want to kill to know that we talk great about you even when you're not here. We
That's
played
right.
one of your clips last week, but
That's
we
how
got
we
you.
know
We
we
got
can
you in the
serve.
building right now.
Absolutely.
Which is important, so folks can hear, some of these words that you're always talking about. Kamari, do you got that? Before he comes on, did you pull down his recent clip?
I did not. I didn't have a chance to.
What you doing, man? What you doing?
Listen, man. I'm going through some stuff, man. I just had a realization. I have to admit that. I mean, I kind of admitted it, but cleaning out my office, they have found all these pictures. All these pictures.
See, now I can't criticize you once you take the grieving mode. I would feel like an a-hole by slandering
Well,
you.
Jimmy, you are a hole, but it's okay. I'm glad that you feel that way. But now, seriously, right? I found, matter of fact, listen, I want to do this. I want to talk about this with Akil. So listen, brother Akil, Professor Akil is a professor of math, right?
Yes.
And he's talking about and teaching about why Black folks need to get into math. Now, a lot of people think math is boring, but brother Akil always says math is a cheat code to wealth. And if more of us realize that, we could really get on to something. But I want to talk about something, but I want Akil to be here to talk about it as well. Brother Akil, how are you, Doc?
What's up, fellas?
Akil, what's up, beloved? How you?
I'm doing good, man. Happy New Year. Wait, what did he's a white guy, but Larry David, how many days go by until we have to stop saying Happy New Year?
It's a good question.
I was thinking about that.
That's actually a good question. That's definitely a good question.
I mean, my rule is I say it at least the first time I see you in the year.
Yeah, I try to do that.
In June, even if it's in
June. Yeah, I can't do that though. I think once January is over, if I haven't seen you, then it just is what it is, man.
Yeah.
For everybody in the audience, when is a good time to stop saying Happy New Year?
It's a good question. And then we can take the data and see what percentage of people see. That's math right there, right?
It is.
Everything's math. Everything's math.
Everything is
empirical data.
So listen, and I want to talk about this real quick. I don't want to overload it, but it's a math question, right? So my dad is the true definition of an accountant. He wrote down everything. So I used to go every day after school to his office and I would get paid. And I found this envelope and it's got like, I don't know, $7 in it or something like that today. And it's got like 12, 8, 6, 15, 88, no show. So it's almost like my time card from back in the day when I was going to his office. And it was like $3 here, $3 here. He would dock me pay for not coming. And I'm just like, my pop was teaching me math this whole time. I didn't even really peep it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Akil, would you say that's a accurate assessment of math teaching in that point? Because he showed me but I forgot about it. It's so long ago.
Yeah, and that's excellent. That's bookkeeping, and it's a very practical use of the mathematics. Right. It ties directly to your pay, which ties directly to your ability to do the things that you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, one of the things I recommend is for, people to always, calculate what your paycheck should be, especially if you work like a sales job, where, it can get a little, it can fluctuate, between paychecks, but it's great practice. It's great mathematical practice, calculating what you forecast your money to be like.
And so one of the things, right, I was like, because you talked about it, like bookkeeping, right? The biggest problems with business owners that I see, they don't want to do books. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to count their money. And I always find that really interesting. It's like, why don't you want to see what you're making and actually know what you're making?
Because they don't want to see the result of it. As most people, I don't want to see it.
That's true too, but I mean, I know you've interviewed Akil. I know I've interviewed Akil. But it seems like many people are afraid of math overall, even if it's about getting money.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's a psyops. It's a psyops that we've all been exposed to. We gotta keep. So I think about Frederick Douglass, right? The first autobiography, he talks about when he got sent to Baltimore, and the lady at the house was teaching him how to read. When her husband came home, he crashed out. Snap.
Somebody showing off.
You can't. Yeah, they go right there.
I'm just telling you. I got the. Great minds, man. I got the source material in front of me, beloved. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
the husband was like, you can't teach him how to read. Basically, you know, long story short, he'll know too much, and he'll have too much awareness, and he'll be unfit to be a slave. I see mathematical literacy as very similar to English language literacy. Once you understand the math, then you can participate in some different conversations. I mean, just think about understanding percentages, the concept of a percentage, and knowing what it means when somebody spits it out. Because now we're getting into media literacy. Think about how often like people throw out percentages and numbers and data, and I'll be like, do y'all really understand what he just said or what she just said? Especially when people start talking real fast, throwing numbers out and whatnot. If you understand it, you might be able to catch on quickly when they're talking real fast. But, you know, if you don't even understand it, then, you know, it makes you very susceptible to be taken advantage of. And I think we live in a very predatory society. So that's helpful for those that want to prey on people. So the idea is for those in control, keep people as far away from math as possible. So we got to program people to make it feel uncomfortable and make it feel like something that you should not want to embrace, make it feel like it's corny, it's too much, it's irrelevant, you're never going to use it, you don't need it. And there are like a lot of subtle ways that happens. If you just kind of look at mainstream media, think about all the things that get said in our community, not just our community, but I'm focused on our community, but in our community that goes unchecked. A lot of the negative propaganda around math and a lot of just the negative positions we take about mathematics and how we feel about it, you know. And it's like a lot of times we trauma bond, like, oh, I was never good at math, and then you run into somebody else, they was never good at math, and then it's like we laugh together. Oh, we was both never good at math, and it almost becomes like a celebratory thing, and that goes a long way because somewhere there might be a little kid listening to that, and they hear you, and they're like, oh, yeah, what I need math for anyway? Wasn't good at math. Why do I need to be good at it?
You know, it's funny you call it a psyop, right? And I'm pretty sure you can recognize what I'm getting ready to say, right? So, as someone who works in data science, what I realize is math is a superpower, right? Because people know that I work in data science, right? So I can throw out some statistics, and they'll just like won't even question me. And I say stuff sometimes trying to get them to question me, right? Because we live in an environment now where people aren't taught to think, right? They're taught to memorize and regurgitate information. But sometimes, to your point, if you give someone a specific percentage, whether that's the mean, median, or mode, and you say it, they should question why it is you're saying what you're saying. But they don't. They just go with it, especially if you're labeled as someone who works in data science. You as a mathematician, you probably can get off saying a lot of things that people won't even question because you are the mathematician, right? And
I probably could. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's scary, specifically when we start to talk about teaching our youngsters, because one of the things I always say is I want you to question everything, including me. Like you have to ask the right question or understand that you should be asking a question, and don't just take someone's word for it based upon the title that sometimes people give themselves, right? So that's why it's interesting that you called it a psyop, because I think it's true. I see it on social media too. People just throw out percentages, and you see this being used against them, right? You know, the gentleman who lost his life in 2024, for some of the thoughts and things he said, he would throw out just crazy statistics and percentages, and a lot of people wouldn't even question it; they would just go with it. So that's why it's interesting that you say what you say in terms of it being a psyop.
Yeah, and it's almost like math is almost seen as like esoteric. It's like esoteric science, you know, but it doesn't have to be though. Like we can learn it if we lock in and decide to learn it. And it's never too late. I think also we're conditioned to think that I only learn up to high school, or even if I go to college, I learn up to college, and then after that, I'm done. I don't learn anything else. I missed the opportunity, but we really can learn at any point. And I would even say, like in terms of mathematics specifically, even if it was difficult in middle school or high school, it's going to be easier as an adult anyway, because now you have like lived experience. You have a lot more lived experience. Like, yeah, all those applications from the textbook when you was like 10 years old about adult experiences, like taking trips and putting gas in your car and everything, like you've never really done that. So there's another element of difficulty that's added to the problems because it's something that's out of your scope of experience anyway. But now you're like 35, 40, however old, and like you've really done that. So now you're just using the math to kind of put it into context. Like this thing that you're actually doing is similar to science. Like was looking at like my niece and nephews playing like, you know, the other day, and I'm like, they sitting up here like playing with balloons, like popping balloons, and I'm like, they're actually doing physics. They're doing physics, but the physics that we think about is just a way to kind of document what we're actually doing, what's actually taking place, whether it's a small child, an adult, teenager, whoever. Same thing with mathematics. We're doing mathematics all the time, but the challenge is, how do we put it into a language that, you know, was agreed upon? Like, how do we create the equation, or how do we solve the equation in order to predict what's going to happen next?
So it's funny you bring up physics, right? Because my son, who's 19, his minor is physics. He loves physics. And the other day he said the most common math equation is y equals
mx plus b.
And then I come on to YouTube like literally the next morning, like, yo, talking about y equals mx plus b. It's like,
I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission, man.
Like, what's going on here? And I was like, you know, they must be watching. They must be listening.
Yeah, and I'm on a personal mission to fight back against like all the people saying that speaking to the irrelevancy of y equals mx plus b, and all the adults that say they never used it once they got out of school, and because a lot of us, we use it all the time, we just don't know it, you know.
Hold on.
So Kill.
Thank you for that, man. Thank you.
It's interesting because I've told you this story before. I was watching an interview with Rick Ross, you know, Officer William Roberts, and he was talking about
the slander.
With slander, I'm speaking facts. With slander, he was talking about the irrelevance of math, right? And he was saying how he spent all his time in school and they're teaching me algebra and all this, and I'm never going to need algebra. Then within that same conversation, he started talking about real estate.
Right.
And he was talking about like figuring out how much rent's got to be paid so he can buy the property here. And I'm sitting there listening like, that's algebra, right?
Oh.
Like, that's algebra. But he said it's within the same conversation. So you know how, you know, a lot of our folk, oh, look at him talking about real estate. They get excited about it. And I'm like, but he's dissing math, but then talking about math within the same conversation, not even seeing the connection there, right? Which is why your work is important, because what you do is you make the connection, sometimes mundane or everyday things, and how math applies to that. But I think more of that has to happen, right? So I'm gonna tell you a quick example, right? So Jill Scott is on the newest episode of the R&B Money podcast. It's one of the podcasts I listen to. But she's telling her story, and she's saying before, you know, she became Jill Scott, she was studying to be a teacher. And she was teaching in a school in Philadelphia, and she was teaching English. She was training to be an English teacher, and she was teaching Shakespeare, and she taught it with R&B and doo-wop songs, and the kids loved it. And she was talking about how she was trying to make like these small little changes, like the school was gray and dark, and she was asking to put more colors in the school, and she was doing these out of the box things, and she got pushback. And she was like, that pushback killed like her, you know, wanting to teach, because the things that were working, they were like, nah, that's not traditionally how we teach things. But it occurred to me in listening to her tell that story that a lot of our kids are at a disadvantage because things aren't made or taught in a way that they can relate to. And then sometimes when you try to do that, you get pushback because it's not part of the standardized teaching. And I thought about you even listening to her tell that story, like, it's important the work that you do even on social media, because even if you can't do that in a classroom per se, you can find other ways to like do that teaching, because our kids need to hear things a certain way.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break. Let's check in with our folks real quick, y'all.
Let's do it.
Champ, what up, man? Thank you.
Champ, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for the super chat.
Appreciate you. Dr. Chaz, trading with Chaz. I see you getting busy, Doc.
Chaz getting to that paper, man. Salute, Dr. Chaz.
That paper, and her YouTube has been turning up. So make sure everybody goes and follows Trading with Chaz, y'all.
Yes.
All right, Anthony, I saw your comment in the village, man. Salute to you on that new goal. I like that.
Yeah, appreciate you in the village too, man.
All right, Warren. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
What's up, Warren?
All right, Champ came through with it. What's equal donations? But thank you.
He went to 2 channels. He gave both channels the
he went to both channels.
Okay. Equal donations, man. Salute the Champ, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, you are super thorough, sir. Thank you. Don Johnson's in the building. What up, Don?
Don said he's glad that Kill's been getting more of his work out there. Kill been going crazy with the, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
he in his bag right now.
I want to salute Don. He's in the group me and Jimmy are in. It's one of our favorite groups. and Don's out there getting to it. I ain't gonna put him out there, but salutes to you, sir. Salutes to you.
I saw they trying to inspire me to put my numbers out there, but I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not doing it. But salute to Don though. Don,
I got too much trauma to do it, but yeah,
man, listen. But salute to Don though. Don getting money.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I love the group for doing that.
Yes, sir.
What up, Jarrell?
Jarrell says Akil is dope. Always putting that math out there for everyone. I watch it and my youngins love it. There you go. Hey, listen, man, that's the greatest compliment that a brother can get right there, man.
It is. Appreciate that.
Happy New Year to you too as well.
Happy New Year, Jarrell. And Jarrell's also and by the way, Jarrell, I don't know if you've been in the village over the last 2 days, but we made a video for you, beloved.
We did.
Jamil's in the building. Jamil's also in the village. What's up, Jamil? How are you, man? Happy New Year, beloved. He said, what up, though? Peace to Akil.
Top Knot Tracker. What up?
What's good?
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
All right, K Diggy's in the building.
K Diggy checking in. Also
where
in
you
the village,
been, baby?
K Diggy's in the village too, man. Salute.
Oh, I know.
I be seeing the comments and the says Happy New Year, fellas.
What up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, Don definitely on beast mode.
He's on beast mode for sure. Of course, we gotta support. That's what it's all about, y'all. When we say about this village and the community, we really mean it. It's not a show. It's not an act. It's real deal. Holyfield, y'all.
So Trey says, I think of Akil every time I make a post with some math. Listen, Akil, I'll tell you one thing, Akil. I'm gonna give you credit for something.
Great branding right there. That's great.
You have done an amazing job branding yourself. So, because first of all, there's not too many brothers named Akil that are in math, right? Yeah. So you can literally walk around and tell people, just Google Akil math. You'll see. You don't even need a website. You're like, just Google me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just Google me. Right?
Just Google me.
Yeah, you've done a great job of branding yourself, man. That's dope. That's super dope. I have a math question for you. I'm trying to help Kamari, right? So I'm trying to write a model for Kamari.
Oh God, why are you writing a model for me? I don't need just
because
all your models are going to do is say pause, and I don't need none of that.
Kamari, I'm trying to figure out like how. At what point, right? If Kamari has so many $40 dates, at what point is he not seeing that the perfect return for the money he's putting out there? So, we're trying to figure out what variables we need to put in this model. So at what point is it diminishing returns? Hey, is Kamari trying to run away from the math? This is math, man. It's strictly math, bro. Don't try to run.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to do, though. That would be interesting to do.
No, man, don't play that nonsense, man.
We really can use algebra for everything, like for all of that. We really could,
Algebra for the underworld. That's your next series, man. You got to do algebra for the underworld. Look at different underworld, activities and figure out how to apply math to them.
Yeah, how to make it relevant. I'm trying to meet people where they are.
That's right.
Because what happens in school, and I was guilty of this as a classroom teacher, kind of following curricula, following the textbook. Mm-hmm. Things are often very abstract, and then it's up to the student to learn it in the abstract, make sense of it, and then on their own relate it to something that is relevant to them. Where oftentimes as a student, you won't learn it well enough to be able to get to that point. So what I try to do is I try to meet you where you are and say, okay, whatever you're interested in, let's use algebra to get a better understanding of that thing, whatever that thing might be. And that's like right. Where a lot of the content on the YouTube channel comes from. Like, I just sometimes be sitting around just thinking of just random stuff, man. Like,
listen, man, for some of y'all that got a problem with booger sugar, that's a math equation to figure out how you can get yourself clean.
You don't need no more support for the streets, man.
I'm just saying, what I'm saying is it's math. It's math, man. It's math, man.
I'm with 21 Savage, man. Fuck the streets, man. That's right.
Listen, man, and listen, I'm not talking about being a gangster.
You for saying that.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. When we talk about the streets come in different parts, right?
But you said the underworld.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is I'm not talking about being violence or being in a gang, but there's other things that people can relate to, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, we all grew up in the hood. Like when you had to get sugar for the Kool-Aid, like at what point? That's math, right? How much sugar do you need for the Kool-Aid?
Clean it up now, right?
I'm not cleaning it up. I said the streets. The streets to me ain't just you talk about one thing, man. You always talk about the idea, right? You said this, the idea of being street adjacent and how you relate to a lot of things being street adjacent.
We are street adjacent, but
listen, so therefore, there's a lot of math surrounding that too.
We don't listen. It's math at everything, everything.
But to that point, since y'all say that, I think if we were able to embrace what Jim is saying, we could show how mathematically. It's probably not in your best interest to participate in certain street activities.
I think the appeal is so strong. The money the perceived money
Yeah,
is so strong. I don't know. But hey,
as you just said, the perceived money. I think a lot of people, they believe in the whole dream chaser idea. I could become a kingpin.
So the
but
East
then it's
Indian
like the
brother,
numbers are like, yo, like these.
the East Indian data scientist. He did the book. It's called like Gang Leader for a Day. If any of y'all ever read that book,
nope.
Nah.
So he was like, he was like a sociologist or something. So he went and he got embedded within the Chicago gang, and he's like a PhD guy. And they talk about him in what's the economics book that Freakonomics. They actually they reference him in Freakonomics. But I read his book, and he talks about doing the math and working within the gang and breaking down to them like, yo, you realize you could actually make more money at McDonald's than you actually make. By the time you take into account your expenses, the risk, and all those different things, you're not really making that much money, right? But that's the name of the book. There's a whole book on this. But to your point, though, that idea of relating it is real. I used to be one of them kids like, I ain't trying to do math. I had a teacher. His name was Dr. Cooper. May he rest in power. He taught at Ivy League. And he pulled me to the side one day and was like, yo, you love math. And I'm like, no, I don't. And he said, yes, you do, because I hear you talk basketball and football statistics all day long.
Yeah.
That one connection, now I work in math every day. But that way, he did this back in, third, fourth grade, like made the connection between the statistics that I love watching hoops and football to math. But if he doesn't do that, who knows? Like, I may never like make that connection and realize like, oh, this isn't that hard. I know how to calculate a free throw percentage. Like, this is the same thing. Like, but he made the connection for me, right? And that goes back to that idea of Jill Scott talking about, she takes Shakespeare and she put it in R&B and doo-wop, and the students like, oh, this ain't that bad. I hate Shakespeare. I never had a teacher that was that good that could make the connection for me. I never felt like it represented me. You know what I'm saying?
Anthony is wilding.
I don't like Shakespeare, but I like Sister Soldier. Anyway, I got to achieve my goal by May or June so I can become a Nate investor for the summer. Listen, Nate was taking care of the community. $40 hollers, eat nature, bro. Nate helped put young men in our community through school. So, all right. So Jamil says, when I hear booger sugar, I automatically think of Wall Street, not the hood.
I agree.
Excellent point. You know what I mean? How about cooked up booger sugar though? what you think of then? Or that Fetty Wap. But I'm just saying, like, honestly though, having real conversations, and that's why I said it doesn't have to necessarily. I was making a joke about Kamari's proclivities, but what I'm saying is, it could be anything.
So easy. I want to know, how do you learn? Where did you learn that?
What you mean?
We just learn that.
We just having a conversation.
You went to school how to be the greatest liar of all time?
I mean, I did go to law school.
Go to flying.
Okay. I did go to law school.
Okay, got it.
I'm not calling attorneys liars. I'm just saying that I did go to law school, but I'm also not lying either. Because the point that I'm making is making it relatable. And for those that watch Akil and his social media content, that's what he does. Yes, I love when you're in the car with your daughter and you're doing math with your daughter. So I have a question on that. Okay. Right. Because your son is in college now, right? He's in Morgan or something.
Yeah, my oldest, Nassim.
Oh man,
he's 20 years old now.
Congratulations! Wow, that's crazy. You got a 20. Congratulations on that.
Well, hold on, Jim. That's your alma mater too, right, Akil?
Morgan? Yeah.
Okay.
He decided to go there on his own. I didn't want to push him.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. Pop went there. So, but listen though, real quick. Here's my question though. Do your kids, right? How do they feel about math, or do they be like, "Come on, Dad, more math"? Like, how do they? What's their relationship with mathematics?
I think they low key. Well, Kwame, the youngest, my 6-year-old, he's excited. Like, okay. He likes to, do math whenever possible. But my oldest two, they appreciate it low key. They like low key appreciate it.
They don't want to admit to you they like it.
Yeah, they don't want to give me the.
We've been a kid. We know what that's like. Our Kamari probably never want to admit to his pop that he liked the accounting, but look at him now.
Because I hated it.
I'll ask them a question and then they spit out the answer real fast because they know how to figure it out. Or they'll be in a group with some other people when I'm not around, and they can spit out the answer. They can figure stuff out. So practice.
I've been teaching my nephew like the stock market and finance literally his whole life, right? And he try to act like he don't like it either. Then one day, I catch him talking to his friends, and he like, y'all don't get this. This is blah, blah. He's breaking it down, the rule of 72 and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, all right. Trying to show off for them, but
Yeah.
So that's how it is, man.
Yep. Go on.
Can I go back to your point about sports?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then that's another initiative that I'm heavily invested in. Getting us as a community, as family, as parents, grandparents, uncles, and aunties to like teach certain skills in the household to the children before they get to school. Because traditionally, a lot of those skills get learned in a classroom, in a school that we may not control. So that could be a problem. You know, like the late, rest in peace to H. Rap Brown, or also known as Jamil Alameen, Imam Jamil Alameen. One of the things he said was, any institution you don't control will be weaponized against you. So if we can teach percentages in the house or on Sunday when we're watching football, like we can practice percentages, like all that. It's so much data in a basketball game on this, just on the TV screen, on a football game on the TV screen. So much data. We could talk about like, you know, what their win percentage is, what their loss percentage is, the total points scored, what percentage does this team have versus that team. It's so many opportunities, you know, for us to just practice this. And, you know, even when I was a youngin', like a lot of my practice, I didn't realize this, but a lot of my practice came from looking at sports stats like baseball, you know, baseball stats, like the winning percentage, the batting averages, slugging percentages, RBIs, all of that, the ERAs, all of that kind of stuff. Like
it's literally an earned run average. It's literally an earned run average, right? So it's baked into that. I want to ask you this question because you know you also are someone who you know loves our history, our Black history. Have you heard the podcast on H. Rap Brown that Audible did?
Nah,
it's phenomenal, bro. Take a look at it. Let me get the it's a Audible original podcast.
While you find it, Jim, let me ask you a question, Akira. So most people do not think in percentages, right? But everything revolving around wealth, Black wealth, money, a lot of times it's percentages. So a lot of times, to your point, we're behind the 8 ball when it comes to thinking about money. So to your point about teaching teaching stats affiliated with football and sports and all that, how do you then translate that into money?
So like, you know, like a batting average, I would say is similar to like a return on investment. You know, there's percentage change, percentage increase. That's another formula, you know, new amount minus old amount divided by old amount. We get into the concept of fractions, you know, because and that's another thing. A lot of people hate fractions and are uncomfortable with fractions, but fractions are just another way of interpreting a percentage. Percentages just standardize everything. It's just a percentage. It's just a fraction with a denominator of 100. Like we're just saying, okay, out of 100, everything's out of 100, so we can more easily compare things. But yeah, like just a lot. There are a lot of things in, you know, wealth building, investment that just deal with percentages. And I think it's important to understand percentages because then you get into ratios, and a lot of times we get caught up in an actual dollar amount. And the dollar amount is cool to understand dollar amounts, but we want to know, like, you know, is this actually a good investment? Because I mean, you might make $100 from an investment, but what percentage does that represent? And then also, like, in terms of business, like, what did you have to invest to make $100 versus, you know, now you get into comparative analysis. Like, you know, maybe there was some other way you could have made $100 or had a return of $100, but maybe you would have had to invest less. But oftentimes you got to get into the percentages and able to see that and just know it as a concept, you know.
So it's Burn. It's called Burn, Baby Burn by Burn Baby Burn: The Life and Legacy of H. Rap Brown. It's
I never finished that. I got to go back.
It's super dope. It's super dope. So,
all right, so we got a question for you. Has Akil ever got Flansburgh? I was bad at math until I came across him.
Nah, I'm gonna look him up. He's probably online, or is he an author? I gotta look him up.
It's 2026. Did you ever get around to figuring out how to grow a tiny bit of food indoors yet? No, we still working on that. Jim,
I suck. I'm still working on figuring that out. I'm trying to prepare for the summer, and I'm gonna do it outside. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use my little grass and try to grow some food. So, peace to Howie G. All right, so listen, Howie G, if you got any ways you can help me, let me know. Akil,
right.
have you ever heard the story? Speaking of this, of A&W when they were trying to compete with McDonald's back in the 80s, right?
With the 1/3 pound burger.
Well, yeah, they had it was 3/4. It was like they called it the 3/4 pounder or something like that. So the problem is it was bigger than a quarter pounder, but because people didn't understand fractions, it failed.
Yeah, yeah.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
They thought that a quarter was bigger, like,
Yeah, because I think it was a third. It was a 1/3 pounder.
Yeah, it was a third.
But because that's that concept of fractions. We got to understand that because of course 4 is bigger than 3 when we're talking about whole numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But when you flip it, you're dealing with reciprocals.
Yes.
So 1/4 is not bigger than 1/3 though.
Yeah, but because that was bad for their marketing. They didn't think that went through, so it failed.
Yeah, and a lot of people too, like myself included. When I was young, I didn't really understand fractions conceptually. I learned how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, how to cross cancel, and find least common denominators and all that. But I really couldn't really explain what a fraction really is, like how you take an object or a group of items and the denominator represents how many equal parts you have. The numerator is out of those parts, how many you're focused on, how many you care about. Like even just that explanation, I never really thought about that until years later, till I became an educator and I had to explain fractions, and not even early in my career, when I started teaching at Cheney and LaSalle, teaching education majors that wanted to teach math to elementary school and middle school students, I had to really learn the concept. And that's when I learned Common Core math, the new math that a lot of people complain about. It's actually kind of dope. Once you get past.
No, it makes sense. No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Once you realize that it's just not what you did, it actually makes a lot of sense. And to your point, I'm the same way, right? So I can actually do the math. I understand how to find common denominators, how to do all that stuff, but it really didn't click to me until starting to work in real estate, right? And you're trying to subdivide a lot, and difference between having a quarter of the lot or a third of the lot, you start to see a different, oh, so this is what they do with fractions. This is what fractions are, right? I'm trying to take this lot and buy a fraction of it or sell a fraction of it off. Then it starts to make sense that way. But again, this is something that we really should focus on in terms of just educating in the house and even in the classroom. I'm always looking for
we don't have to wait for school. That's one thing I want to emphasize. We don't have to wait for the school. I want to flip the game around. Have school be the space for practice.
Well, hold on, Akil. Let's because I think this all ties in, right? So Jigga asks, how does Akil suggest getting stronger at doing math in the head as an adult? As a teen, math was only retained through repetition. 2 weeks ago, with no work, and I get
math deficit disorder.
Okay.
Put your glasses on, dog.
Yeah, I need my glasses. Shout out to Dr. Archima.
Yeah, I see you straining over there. I'm like, yeah. So I got you. I got you though. I got you. I'm my brother's keeper. I got you, dog.
Thank you. You didn't have to bring it. You didn't have to mention it though. You just did it.
I mean, they saw you. If they're watching the screen, they see you.
But you ain't have to shout me out though, man.
You straight put your face closer, you know what I mean. But it's all good though.
But what do you think about that, Akil?
So I would say, it takes time. It takes time. You may have to write the computation down first and get comfortable with it. But I think that's another way in which the Common Core math actually comes in handy, because what the Common Core math does is it gives alternative strategies, to figure stuff out. Like, for example, I'll give you an example.
Before you do that, explain what Common Core math is.
Common Core math is like this. It's a different approach to the teaching of math that was released in different states at different times. I want to say maybe 15 years ago or so. That's when it began to become the way of teaching mathematics in public school districts, public and charter schools, throughout the country. And there's more of an emphasis on conceptual understanding and diverse strategies for problem solving, as opposed to when we were growing up, just giving us one way to do the problem and having us memorize the algorithm. Yeah, or memorize facts. I'm a heavy believer in memorizing multiplication facts, addition, subtraction, division facts, but I think they should be memorized as a consequence of a lot of practice and by using different strategies.
So you believe in rote? You believe in rote memory?
I do believe in it. Not in the absence of the other. Not, I think it's a both and approach we need. Okay. So I think we do need to learn different strategies, because that's how we develop fluency too. Because one of the parts of fluency people often leave out is flexibility. So a major part of fluency is flexibility, just like efficiency is a part of flexibility too, or fluency, because you got to know like, okay, like, and that's where it's beneficial to know like 4 or 5 different methods. Because then I'm like, okay, I know 4 or 5 different methods. It's like playing a video game. It's like, okay, what weapon do I use for this level to kill these guys, right?
Gotcha.
On this game, right? So math is like, similar to that. But the example I was thinking of is like 31 times 17. And we could all write it down, but what if we just visualize the numbers in our head? Like 31 is the same thing as 30 plus 1. So if I separate the 1 from the 30, I like basically, let's call it, what we call it, partitioning, decomposing.
In my head, that's 10 times 300, then you add another 31 in there, and then you do the 7 times, but I'm doing the same thing. I'm breaking it down.
Yeah, you just break it. And there are different ways we could break it down. So the first thing that came to mind for me was like, do 30 times 17. And I know I knocked the 0 off temporarily. Yeah. 3 times 17 is 51. So 30 times 17 is going to be 510.
Add
another 17.
Add another 17. There you go.
17. So you get 527. So Common Core, if it's taught properly, that's another key. That's another key aspect. It's got to be taught properly, because there are a lot of methods that are great, but if they're not taught properly, then nobody's going to benefit anyway. But then that goes back to a deeper issue of training. So teachers have to be trained. Teachers have to buy into it. They got to be trained, and they got to know they got to have confidence in their own math ability and all of that, but yeah, it just gives you flexibility.
So a couple things. I have a couple questions, but I want to run this by you too, which is in the chat from Jamil. Jamil says that Scott Flansburgh is the human calculator. He had a book called Math Magic on the infomercial circuit with Kevin Trudeau. He teaches to do math from the left to right instead of right to left.
There's some problems where we do that. Like I know what comes to mind going from left to right, subtraction. Subtraction. But when we do subtraction, you can also deal with the negative numbers. If you deal with negative numbers when you're subtracting, then if you go from left to right, then you're dealing with place value, right? Because place value is key too, and that's another thing. So place value gets political, because then we start thinking about, like, okay, do we really need? Then we empower ourselves to be able to understand how much $1 billion really is. And it's like, does one person really need to have $1 billion? When we really understand place value, we understand how much money it actually is. It's actually like, if you had $1 billion and you wanted to spend $1 billion, now that's and this is barring out all capital gains, all interest accumulation. We're imagining a world where none of that even exists. But if you wanted to, like in a Brewster's Millions type situation with Richard Pryor,
yes,
you would have to spend $2.7 million per day for a year to spend $1 billion.
That's why no one needs $1 billion.
Like 2,739,000.
I need $1 billion. I don't know what Jimmy's talking about. I need $1 billion.
I don't need $1 billion.
Speak for yourself, sir. Speak for
yourself. There's only so many dates you can get, dog. So leave that alone. But listen, though, I have a couple questions for you, gentlemen. Come on, I want to ask you this question.
There's different quality of dates, sir.
I'm sorry. Oh, my fault. You gonna start going to the $4,000. I got you. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry. The question I have is this: have either of you brothers heard of Septima Clark?
Yes.
So I wasn't familiar with her body of work, but I'm always on like the hunt for these like hidden figures, for lack of a better term, right? And Monica actually said, "Hey, okay, you actually got one of her books."
Yeah.
So I do know that name now.
I wasn't familiar with her body of work, and I started reading about her, and they called her like Queen Mother of the Civil Rights Movement. And what they were saying is a lot of people like who opposed the Civil Rights Movement found her to be the most dangerous person in the Civil Rights Movement, because she took the position of revolution as education. So I want to teach math. I want to teach English, reading and writing. That's how you revolutionize. That was her approach. And she taught people how to read and write to be able to vote and do all kinds of other things. But they were saying how she was considered such a danger. And they looked at her as being even more dangerous than like Brothers Ready to Take Arms or Brothers Marching or anything like that, because what she was doing was empowering people through math and English. So I wasn't familiar with her body of work, and I came across that literally today, and I was like, damn, another hidden figure.
Yeah. King shouted her out a lot, in terms of the work they was doing. Yeah. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. Of course I should have known I killed her, man.
Speaking of that, though, right? You know, you're a voracious reader as well. And one of the approaches that you take to mathematics is something that you call hystematics. Can you explain to everybody what that is?
Yeah, so hystematics is using Black history to teach math, or examples from Black history, you know, Black history exemplars and Black history events to teach mathematics, and also vice versa, using mathematics to teach Black history and make more sense of it. You know, different things such as like for example, you mentioned Septima Clark. So if I look up like the year she was born, I might make an addition or a subtraction or even a multiplication or division problem where I know the answer is going to be the year that she was born.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a nice way to, you know, you teach the lesson on how to add or subtract or what have you. And then you segue into a conversation about her and say, oh, you know what? This number looks familiar to me. You know, this is the year that Septima Clark was born. And actually, it's probably going to be a year. What year was it?
1898.
1898. So, yeah. And so, yeah, so that's significant because that's her birth year. But then when you think of 1898, let me see what else happened in 1898. I think Du Bois actually came to Philly and started working on his project that would become the Philadelphia Negro.
Mm-hmm.
In 1898, if I'm not mistaken. It was around that time because it's before he dropped Souls of Black Folk. Souls of Black Folk ain't dropped till like 1903.
Yeah, that's his magnum opus. That's his Confessions.
Yeah, yeah, like so yeah. But it's a lot of stuff that happens in like certain years. In 1898, that's 2 years after Plessy versus Ferguson, the Supreme Court case, and all that. So, but just from the numbers. Though,
so what's your most successful connection that you've done since you've been teaching, like where you see that this specific example seems to work when you talk about hystematics?
It's a lot of them, but one that comes to mind is like the one I connect with radical equations, because we were talking about COINTELPRO earlier, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're solving a radical equation or an equation with a radical expression in it, there's essentially 2 steps to it, right? The first step is to isolate the radical expression on one side of the equation. And then the next step is to eliminate the radical sign by doing the opposite power. So if it's the square root of something, you got to square everything on the left side and right side. And, you know, one day I was just thinking about how that's basically how, you know, oppressive regimes and, you know, CIA, COINTELPRO, that's how they operate. They identify the radicals in the community. I try to isolate them from the community through different methods, right? And then they try to eliminate them either through assassination or incarceration, you know, for life.
Or they use technology. They create things like Kwanzaa.
I like Kwanzaa. I like Kwanzaa.
I know. Listen, I appreciate. I do
doing
appreciate
too much
Kwanzaa.
DTM, man. You doing too much.
I do appreciate Kwanzaa.
I celebrated Kwanzaa my whole life. Kwanzaa is personal to me, but I get it though. I also get it. Like there's some questionable things associated with it.
A lot of questionable things.
Yeah,
I will get that as well.
Yeah, I'll admit that. Yeah.
Anyway, man, my 5 minutes. I didn't mean to.
Listen, man. Listen, yesterday was Imani, right? I have faith in Jim. One day he's going to turn around and get out of the juvenile phase and stop saying pause. So never. I have Imani.
Never. You be saying stuff that I listen. I've cut back.
Say nothing, man.
I've cut back, but sometimes you're egregious. Sometimes.
Not egregious, man. Listen, man. First of all, I don't think like that, man. Get your mind out of the gutter, man.
Anyway, man.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Lorraine says she needs $1 billion too. I heard that, Lorraine. I hear you.
Shout out to Lorraine.
I hear you. Yeah, man. So no, like, Kamari, can you find the video from the brother? I want to make sure we play that video before we get out of here. I think that was a powerful video that he just put up recently. You know what? I saw it. I shared it because, you know, as a real estate guy, that resonated right with me.
You talking about the mortgage one?
Yeah, I mean, it's because it's real. It's real. I feel like the idea and some of the things that he teaches, like just in terms of, and something he said earlier, like we live in a world where everybody's trying to get over, right? Everybody's trying to get over.
That's a fact.
Right? So understanding math, this like it's a superpower. It really is a superpower.
It's defense. It's a weapon. You know, it's a weapon. And so speaking of that, I want people to think about that when either they say as adults or they think back and as a child they said this, or their children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews say this, when they say, I don't need to know this, right? If we think about mathematics as a weapon in high level math, lower levels of math, algebra, calculus, what have you, geometry, trigonometry. We have to also think about who is learning the math, who is learning it. So if you say you don't need calculus, but then somebody else is learning calculus, and we think about mathematics as a weapon for defense, what happens when we don't have that weapon, but somebody else does have that weapon? Then we're susceptible. Because if we have to compete, this is a very competitive society. If we got to compete, we're not able to compete as effectively with people that do have those skills. So we can't just think about what we may think that we may need. We got to think about what other people have. And then we got to also think about, well, these people that are studying this high level math, they're learning the calculus, and even beyond calculus, they're, getting bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs in mathematics. They're going to work in private industry, going to work for government entities. Their job becomes to create algorithms and use formulas to create situations and circumstances that are going to govern all of our lives, whether we like it or not. So we're setting ourselves by kind of checking out and disqualifying ourselves from learning these things. We're setting ourselves up for asymmetrical warfare. Setting ourselves up for that. And that, we don't want to do that. So you want to think about that. So don't just think about whether you are going to use it. Think about who is going to use it. If you say, well, you're not going to use it, that's fine, but somebody's using it, and that person is using it. What they're doing is going to affect your life. It's like politics.
It's funny because you say that. Yeah. That's the excuse that I've heard people use about firearms, right? but it's a great analogy because you said it's literally a weapon, right? Yeah. So the same debate that people have with fire, you don't want to use it, somebody else going to use it, so it's better to have it and not need it. That whole argument.
I mean, we already seen what happened, though, right? We saw what happened when people didn't have firearms.
No, but what I'm saying is the fact that analogy works with math gets proof positive that it is in fact a weapon, because it's the same argument. But we're talking about math and not a weapon, right? But so it definitely is an actual argument. So real quick, I was looking at Jamil's comment. He says, "Do you all participate in Okoma Day?" I am not. I've heard of it, but I am not that far in my Ashe bag. I'm not part of that far in Ashe culture to celebrate that. I think that's they call it the Black Valentine's Day or something like that, right?
Okay.
So it's a day they created. I don't know who created it though, Jamil. Who's responsible for creating it? I think it's it's in February, but it's it's supposed to be I guess that's what I've heard of. But I heard it referred to as a Black Valentine's Day.
It's Black Love Day,
something like that, I guess.
Yeah, February 13th.
Okay, so the day before
Valentine's Day.
So maybe I have heard of that.
Listen, man. I mean, let me get my Ashe back.
Okay, I mean, listen, you way further in the Ashe culture than I am.
Hey, man, I go back to the source, brother.
I thought maybe you knew about that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't think I'm familiar with that.
Okay, I know you were sage burning boy and all that. You know what I'm saying? Numbers, sun, moon, stars, quasar, all that. I got it.
That's right. And the zodiac.
I got you. Do some clicks for you real fast or something. Anyway, so the Rain says math and English are the most important subjects taught in primary and secondary schools. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. The Black Alternative Valentine's Day, starting February 13th, using the 7 principles of Kwanzaa as I didn't know that part about it.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
I didn't know that either.
So is COINTELPRO behind this too, Jamil? I'm asking. I want to know.
Listen, man, when you go down to Nguzo Saba, which is the principles of Kwanzaa, they are all dope. And the community would really further themselves if they embrace that.
Okay. So I guess it's doesn't the ends and means, right? So it's really about the end result, not necessarily where it comes from for you.
What's the practicality in it, sir?
I was asking a question. It's a personal thing.
Slander. I know what's going on.
It's not slander. I'm asking. I'm trying to get an understanding.
We could say he was a vehicle to bring the tradition from the motherland or from the continent, some of the traditional practices in Nguzo Saba to us in the United States.
I like
I
that.
got
Yeah.
you. I mean, he also was responsible for the parent. Never mind. I don't want to get into that, man, because we could be
And
here all day.
it was Barack. Shout out to Mary Barack. Well, him and his wife Miriam Amina Baraka for making it, more popular, for popularizing it when he was incarcerated.
No, salute to them. They did amazing work. They definitely did a nice little rebrand, but no, I'm just saying they really did.
Man, the city today.
Who did I say that it is a rebrand? All right, come on, man. You want to be honest or no, man? Like you always tell me that we have to really be honest and we got to critique. We should critique and be honest with everything, right? That's what I got. You told me that.
I didn't say critique. I said observe.
Oh, so not critique. We shouldn't critique anything.
Some things we should observe. We should observe.
So some things shouldn't be critiqued.
We should observe because some things, in my opinion, for example, I was having a conversation about the Panthers the other day, and I said, when you really go into it, there were some negative things, even though the Panthers did a lot of great work. And me personally, I don't have a right to judge them because I didn't live in the times. I didn't go through what they were going through. However, if I'm serious about my people and doing better, you gotta say, all right, that was good, that was bad, that was good. Let's bring this to the table. That's all.
No, listen, I agree 1,000%.
Not judge.
No, I guess critique. It depends upon how you look at the word critique. Do you think critique is used in the pejorative, right?
It depends. Listen, when I talk to you, it's always negative critique. So
no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. But I think it's important. He's talking about history and math and all these things, right?
Yeah.
To really be honest, right? And that includes ourselves. Like, I'm not beyond being critiqued. I'm not a perfect person. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody is above reproach. I got
nobody walking this earth's surface is. But trust me, work with the kid. Anyway, I'm sorry. But the point is, though, we have to be honest. Like, honesty is important. That's all I'm saying. So, Jamil says, a brother by the name of Ayo Handy Kendi and his wife. It started back in 1993. That's crazy. So, that's a long time ago at this point. It's talking over 30 years.
32 to be exact. It's the year of my son's birth.
All right, so I gotta start celebrating that, man. So Jamil, that means on February 13th, I'm gonna see you post about it on your page, right? Like we gonna support this thing or no?
So we're gonna have what's it? How do you even pronounce it? Akuma?
I think I see because I've seen it spelled with the A as well, so I think it is pronounced like Akuma or
So we're gonna have like an Akuma dance or celebration, a party.
I don't know. I gotta do some research. So Ayo Handy Kendi first. So I gotta see what it's really spawns from. I gotta see what it spawns from, man. Like,
tell me what your research of the Easter Bunny comes up to too.
I don't mess with the Easter Bunny. Like, what you talking about?
Go ahead, man.
You're using those things on the wrong person. I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate none of that. I celebrate Malcolm's birthday. That's the only holiday I celebrate, man.
Hey, how about that?
Nice.
There we go.
You see the ancestor behind me. Yeah, wait, right there. Yes, right here, this way. There, right there. You see him. The artwork right there. You see Brother Malcolm, El Hodge. But no, that's what I celebrate. So now tell me what I gotta do there now. Come on, you gonna stand to that too?
What?
Me celebrating Malcolm's birthday.
He should be celebrated.
Okay.
A lot of our ancestors should be celebrated. We need to come up, in my opinion, we should come up with our own holidays. We let the government dictate our holidays, but at the same time, we want to say the government ain't for us, but we follow all the government bullshit. So
we be looking for a day off to try barbecue, dog. That's the funny thing about holidays.
I'm about the real right now.
I said no, because a lot of our folks don't. They take the day off. They don't really be celebrating these holidays. Like if you want.
But here's the thing, right? The funny thing is, Black folks actually created some of these holidays. Like July 4th and Memorial Day. A lot of them was created by Black folks, but we have not taken the time to go and do the history and do the math, do the knowledge.
Okay, I mean that's part of it. That's part of it. So, Kill, let me ask you a question, man. You've been putting a lot more of your work out there, man. Like I said, everybody's excited to see it. You see it in the comments and everything. What are some of the things that you're looking to create surrounding math, like moving forward? Like you've made the connection to a lot of things we use in everyday life. Is there anything specific that you're looking to connect to kind of keep telling this story?
Well, in terms of activities, one of the things I'm going to be doing is like parent workshops, just to like really help the parents to develop their confidence in math. A lot of people they lack the confidence based on their experience from high school and middle school. So and they may not want to really try to help their children. They may want to help their children, but they may feel ill-equipped, and because they may feel like, well, I'm not a teacher, but since I've been a classroom teacher, I know that a lot of teachers aren't qualified to, so it's really just an issue of learning and, committing to the process of studying and learning the mathematics and just practicing it on a regular basis. And there are a lot of things we can do, a lot of practical things we can do that, are kind of already intertwined with what we're already doing on a regular basis anyway. In terms of like cooking and just things we see on the dashboard in the car, things I talk about in my book, How to Use All This Math, Volume 1.
All right, make sure you share the book. Share the book.
A copy of it.
There we go. Akil got the book out. How to Use Math, Volume 1.
All right, we got to order that. But real quick, let's show this real quick.
You ain't got Akil's book.
So
yet,
like
man?
there's this other thing that I'm big on, this thing of people saying, and I get it, they saying it out of frustration, but they saying like, oh, I never had to use y equals mx plus b. You brought up mortgages. That's a function of y equals mx plus b. That's a representation of it, because if you think about it like this, the variable, every letter in that equation represents a different numerical value. So we say y represents the total amount you're going to pay for a house, right? When you get a mortgage. B is your down payment. That's the amount of money you put out up front. So B is going to be your down payment. M is going to be the amount of your monthly mortgage. X is the amount of months that you're going to pay it for. So you should be able to multiply the M, and the X, the monthly mortgage times the number of months you're going to pay it, plus your down payment. That should equal the total cost of the house. You can add that in too, but my point is that understanding that equation, y equals mx plus b, and how it's applicable in a lot of situations that we deal with. It's unfortunate if you don't think you use it, because people use it all the time.
That's a fact.
There you go.
So, Akil, you said a lot of people have been slandering the y equals mx plus b. Like
they have.
I've never seen that. I've seen people say like, "What's the point of algebra?" But I never saw that one before. But I mean, I believe you.
Yeah, they get more specific with their slander of algebra. It gets a lot of content, it gets a lot of traction on social media. So I say, but I understand why people say that, because oftentimes we as teachers don't do a good enough job showing the practicality of a lot of these formulas, myself included. Definitely, like early in my career, I wasn't doing a good job at that. But that's why now I want to make up for that and show people like all these different ways in which we're using y equals mx plus b. Anytime you put money down first on something, a fixed amount of money, and then there's a consistent amount that's being paid on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, that's y equals mx plus b, basically.
I mean, it's like all the financial, like internal rate of return, net present value. I mean, that's all algebra. Like I don't think people truly understand the power of them, though. But
yeah, there's definitely a disconnect, especially when we talk, because like earlier I mentioned media literacy. Mathematical literacy, I would say, is at the foundation of media literacy, but it's also at the foundation of any financial literacy. And it's interesting to me. I started thinking about this, like, around pandemic time when like LLC Twitter got popular, and people were just, talking about, securing different ways to secure the bag and, getting wealthy and whatnot. And I'm like, I get it. That's cool. But I know a lot of these same people are like, they fell for the psyops, like to stay away from mathematics at all costs. So I started thinking then, like, how can you really be financially literate in the absence of mathematical literacy, when the mathematical literacy is the foundation of the financial literacy, unless you just want to kind of just listen to other people tell stories about how much money they made.
First question. You can't be literate.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. This is a serious question too. So I was teaching a class at high school, and I was telling them, like, the jobs that are out there in data science, the importance of data science and understanding it. And a lot of the pushback that I get now in these spaces are kids telling me like, "Oh, I got Chat GPT. I don't even need that no more." So my question to you is, how do you deal with that pushback? Because I'm pretty sure you hear that as well. And if you haven't heard it, you will be hearing it, because, so what's your response to that?
Well,
Santana might say.
Number one, why are we so quick to trust ChatGPT? You know, number one, especially in its early stages. You know, and then also like even with ChatGPT, you have to know how to create prompts. And if you don't have a certain amount of knowledge and understanding of a concept, you may not create the appropriate prompt to get the actual answer that you need. ChatGPT will give you an answer, but it may not give you the answer that you actually need. But you wouldn't know that if you don't have a certain level of knowledge about the subject and about the topic. You know, in addition to that, it's really about like, I mean, I think we have to use our ego for like more positive things. Like, you know, like I kind of like sometimes I'm typing emails and like, you know, Google Gmail will like suggest the next word. And I'm like, nah, bro, chill. Like I'm not about this. I wasn't about to type that. Like chill. Like, or maybe sometimes I'm like, maybe I would, that would go good. But nah, just because you suggested it, I'm not going to use that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you're rebellious in that way. I get that.
Yeah, we got to do that. I think we got to do that sometimes because, you know, the thing with ChatGPT and AI is it can be a viable tool and it can be very helpful. But once you become over reliant on it, like the brain is like a muscle. Like we stop thinking, you know. So there's long-term consequences. So
there's actually studies already about that in terms of what they consider it offloading. When you start to offload too many things, and they studied this with cell phones before even AI. Like, think about this. How many people's phone numbers do you remember? Right?
Yeah, because that's one thing I got to start doing again. I got to start doing that again.
Because most of us have offloaded it to our phones. There's so many things, addresses, phone numbers, we've already offloaded to our devices. So now the next level of offloading is we're offloading many of the things that we think, all of our thoughts and everything to this, you know, these platforms. So there's already studies about how it, from a cognitive standpoint, it actually diminishes some of your ability to retain information and learn information because of offloading. So that's actually already a thing.
And you won't know how to do it. And I think one other thing to tell the young people is like, and this I guess is like a drug trafficking parallel, right? Because when we think about there was an article about Waldorf schools in the New York Times like between 15 and 20 years ago. If anybody's unfamiliar with Waldorf schools, there's one in Philly actually. It's one right on Shelton Avenue. Wayne Avenue past Shelton Avenue. Kind of highfalutin private school, very low tech, but they have them all over the country. The article that I read was about one that was in Silicon Valley. And a lot of the children that attended this school were the children of tech CEOs who were responsible for making a lot of the technology that we all use. And this is 15 years ago. So it's even more, there's even more, you know, prevalent now. But it's a very low tech school, no iPads, no smart boards, children sitting down, handwriting with pencils and pens and, you know, having conversations, no smartphones, no Chromebooks. So we also got to think about that. Like, okay, the people that make millions of dollars from creating the technology and selling it across the world, they don't want their own children to be exposed to it on such a regular basis. So for the young people, it's like, what does that tell you? You know, like the people, it's like the drug dealer. The drug kingpin doesn't want his own children, his own family getting high. No,
like
what's the stuff to everybody else?
That's what Rod Wave said this song. We said, what do you say? Future told us that, no, who was it? He said something, yeah, I think it was Future, talking about drinking lean and something else. But anyway, he don't drink lean, but he's telling us to drink lean. But the bottom line is, you're right. Montessori schools, though, right? I've always read that a lot of the tech CEOs actually went to them, and those are the ones they prefer for their kids. In fact, didn't Zuckerberg just get in trouble for like
he had a bootleg Montessori school?
Yeah, he had a bootleg
in his like on his compound, like in his mansion somewhere.
Yeah. He tried to create his own school, and he's like, "Yo, what you doing, B?" Like, so. But I tell the kids, man, you listen. You always gonna need knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, man. You know, quote the cipher. All right, so
I mean, but it's funny, right? Sam Altman doesn't want his children to learn or use AI. He's the CEO of OpenAI, ChatGPT. So that really tells you something. I mean, Kill would make a great point. Great point.
Yeah.
Now, Tony brought up earlier, Kill, that we were talking about you before you even came on. I mean, everybody knows that. But I pulled up that clip that we pulled a couple weeks ago. And I want you to look at this and tell us what you thought about this.
And this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say tonight.
It's about methodology. It's about the method. It's about like, so you sit in the class and you're doing the problem is not relevant to your life. The problem had nothing to do with you and whatnot. But the way you solve that problem, the way you read it, decipher it, decode it, set up the equation, solve the equation, then what you do is you take that same method and apply it to something that you love. You apply it to something that you do care about. You apply it to something that goes on in your house, but you learn it in math and something that seems totally unrelated. Just like I use this this framework analogy, right? You go to Target, you know, buy a picture frame. You buy the picture frame, it's got the stock photo in there. When you get home, you don't know them people. You don't put that up in your living room. Yeah. You take that picture out, you put your picture in there.
And apply it.
It's the same frame.
Right.
It's the same frame, but you putting different content into it. Put your own content into the same frame.
That makes sense.
That's how math is.
I thought that was so powerful. Again, we shared it with. Now I did not even know you were coming on today, but I thought this was so powerful, so we had to share
super
that.
dope, super dope, super dope. Absolutely super dope, man. Yeah. So let me get to some of these comments real fast. Lorraine says, "You also celebrate my birthday, Malcolm." Hey, listen, Lorraine. Now that I know that, I'll make sure that we wake up and we celebrate Lorraine as well. Jamil says that he tried to get folks to get on the bandwagon back from 2010 to 2014, but folks wasn't gravitating towards it. I think they thought you got to spin a 40 ball for 7 days straight. I never heard of that, man. I watch a lot of side net. I never heard that before. So, it must ain't make the circuit. Workshops sound interesting, man. I'm definitely guilty of checking out conversations when there are a lot of numbers being thrown out. For example, buying a car, etc. Being scared of numbers has definitely led to bad decisions. Listen, man. My brother Corey always tells me, man, everything is math, man. If you decide to go on that $40 date, what's the probability that's going to be better than the $4,000 dates Kamari goes on? So,
But here's the thing to you still, Rocks. I want you to realize that sometimes people use math as a weapon and they weaponize it to try to do as a scare tactic to get the sale. So that's one of the reasons why we do need to run into it and embrace math so you can make the best possible financial decisions.
Yeah. And if I can add to that too, like people will throw numbers at you, they'll throw percentages at you, they'll talk real fast.
Yep.
And then a lot of times if we buy into this idea that, we're not smart enough to keep up because we're conditioned to think that you're supposed to interpret and fully comprehend everything that they said. And if you can't, then you've just lost. It's like, in most cases, most people can't do that either. Like even me, like if somebody starts talking real fast with numbers, I may know how to process them, but I may have to tell the person like, whoa, slow down.
But here's why.
Let me write that down.
If you start talking fast, for me, in my mind, because I've done a lot of sales training, that's a trigger to trying to sell me some bullshit. So my defense automatically goes up. I'm just being honest.
All right, Kill. I got another book for you. Have you ever read Ego is the Enemy?
Ego is the Enemy? No.
Yeah, it's a good book, right? Ryan Holiday, right? But the point I'm making is a lot of times people fall into this trap because of their ego. Because I've seen people do stuff where someone's talking crazy and fast to them and they were like, he ain't smart. So it's the ego thing, and your ego doesn't allow you to understand that you're being kind of preyed upon. Yeah. So the ego is really a big part of this, man. So we got to get our egos in check. So here's a question for you, Akil. Jamil asks, what does Akil think about supreme mathematics and how the 5% use it to build, add on, and solve problems in their daily lives?
What's today's mathematics, God?
So I bought a couple years back. I bought a couple of books about Clarence 13X. It's like a 2-volume set. I never got through them. In my basic research on Clarence 13X, he seemed like an interesting brother, somebody I want to learn more about. But I am interested in making those connections because that's another thing about this is why I think us being another reason I think us being programmed to dislike and a lot of us to dislike and stay far away from math is a psyop. Because if you think about like 90s hip hop, 90s, early 2000s, especially late 80s, 90s hip hop, all the references to the 5% Nation, supreme mathematics, there's so much math, like math was in the music, math was in the culture. So it seems like I'm of the belief that there had to be something done that's beyond our control to get us to deviate from that and get away from that. because it was like, just even talking about mathematics, like what's today's mathematics was, like I didn't know what that meant, but I remember all the rappers saying it, when I was in elementary and middle school and all in the songs and whatnot. Like even when Wu-Tang came out when I was in high school, I remember them like mentioning things. I'm like, what is that? That sounds interesting, but it seems like we would have been able to leverage that, and the whole community would have been able to like, be proficient and master mathematics on high levels, but we didn't. But to his question, I haven't really studied it. I would like to though.
So today is the second. So today's math is wisdom, man. So today is wisdom. So also, has Akil ever read and solved any equations in the Nation of Islam's problem book, student enrollment, actual facts, and solar effects? So Jamil is deep down inside that rabbit hole right now.
I have not. I wrote that down though, because I would like to get my hands on that.
Okay.
If possible.
There you go.
Islam's problem book. Now the brother, what's his name? Actually, two brothers. If anybody's familiar with the brother who went by the name the Math Doctor, I think he's still living. Shaheed Muhammad. He's in the Nation of Islam, and I remember I used to get math DVDs. He used to make. So I guess he's one of my influences for the YouTube channel, because back in the day, I think my pop got me like one of his DVDs back in the day where he was just like doing math problems, explaining. I'm not
familiar with him. I know Ali Shaheed Muhammad, but not Shaheed Muhammad. So.
Yeah, from Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, that's what I thought you got. I say Ali. No, you talking about somebody different.
Yeah. No, but this brother, he nicknamed himself the Math Doctor, and he was in the Nation of Islam. Also, somebody else, brother that went to Lincoln and actually taught at Lincoln at one point. Dr. Abdul Alim Shabazz, the late Dr. Abdul Alim Shabazz. He was a math PhD, but he taught at the University of Islam out in Chicago for a very long time.
Okay.
And he also trained many Black PhD mathematicians here in the United States. I think I heard a statistic that he trained more Black math PhDs than anybody else.
Wow.
Abdul Alim Shabazz.
All right, gotta do the knowledge on that, man. That's super dope, man. So algebra is used practically every day. If you're figuring out how much an item costs after a discount, that's algebra. How much does it cost to fill up your tank? That's also algebra.
Yeah. I was talking. I was in a situation. Speaking of, filling up the gas tank, I was in a situation with somebody. I'm not going to like name names or nothing, but they, were giving somebody a ride and they wanted me to reimburse them, and they went from 59th and they had to go from like near 59th and Locust to Mount Airy, and they wanted like $30 from me or $31 from me for it, and I was like, Damn. Nah. I did the math, and I was explaining to somebody else that was involved in the scenario why that would be unfair, because even if gas was $3 a gallon, approximately, that's like for $31 you can get 10 gallons. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take 10 gallons, and I know what type of vehicle this person has. It don't take 10 gallons worth of gas to get from 59th and Locust to Mount Airy and back. They ain't gonna take 10 gallons worth of gas. That's not gonna happen.
That's a quarter tank at best, unless it's a gas guzzler. But then that's another math equation.
Yeah, what you driving, a Hummer?
Hey, nope.
Eddie pushed the Hummer in the summer.
So, but yeah, like these. So people. One of the things I've been saying recently is that, like in line with math being a weapon, math protects us from people being able to play in our face, unscathed and get away with it. Because people will constantly try to play in your face.
Absolutely.
Try to take advantage of you. But if you know math, you know how to check the situation. I say, wait a minute, no, that doesn't add up. But if you don't know how to do the math, then you're out here defenseless.
Gotcha.
So
shout out to you, Jamel. You said no red
shots for him.
Nah, I find this hilarious.
So Lorraine says, was today's mathematics 90s rap referencing weight and kilo math? So no, it actually wasn't though. So when we talk about that, we're talking about more before quote unquote gangster rap, for lack of a better term, because I don't think that gangster rap is actually, it depends upon who you talk to. I think it's a different form. When I hear gangster rap, I hear people crying for help, but that's a whole other story. But I do remember what you're talking about. You're talking about like listen, when I first heard "You Must Learn," I talked about this recently on here. When I heard that song, I went and looked up everybody, and I had to actually go to the encyclopedia. There was no Wikipedia or YouTube or none of that. I had to actually go do the knowledge. So this, when we talk about the poor righteous teachers, you know, on Rock This Funky Joint, we're talking about people who were actually using hip hop in that time frame to teach. It was really like they were really teaching.
But to Lorraine's point, there was a book that used that for their code to say how much bread was sold today on the dope and all that. So not a rap song per se, but they've used it and extracted for that. But that's not what it was about at all.
Yeah, we reference like knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and how that was used in hip hop. We're talking about before the Foxy Brown math. That she used on the Firm album when she was wilding out. But I don't even think that math even checks out though, Kill. So maybe that's
I gotta sit down and do that. Like I've actually never, after all these years, I've never actually sat down.
That's probably something for you to solve, man. There's a video for you. There you go, executive produce for you. Right, I want you to go do the Foxy Brown math and see if it works out for you. But anyway,
Firm biz.
I do want to do some Griselda math, because some West Side Gun, like just. He's so allegedly, like, he's sold so much cocaine, man. Like, and it's just so many just weights and measurements and unit conversions.
No, you gotta do some Stove God Cooks math, because he's wild. His numbers be wild too. He be wilding, man. He be wilding. But I'm just saying that there's a whole other lane for you, man. Mathematics and hip hop songs, man, and whether they check out or not. Like, are they doing hashtag all this math? Anyway, man, listen, man, your work is amazing, brother. We appreciate you as always. Before we get out of here though, y'all, we want to do a Bitcoin giveaway. All right, we give away Bitcoin. And by the way, that's another algebra equation that I once solved. That, and I went back and looked at how much Bitcoin we gave away in terms of where it was when we started giving it away and where it is now, and we were over $50,000 of giveaways. Not that we gave away.
Where we at now, Jimmy? Where we at now?
Honestly, I gotta go back and do the knowledge. I gotta do the hashtag all this math, because
can we create a model? Keep a running tab of that.
That's actually an excellent idea. I gotta find time to do it.
I know it's not going to be exact. But
no, I got you. That's not a bad project for me. It's funny because I'm back in school right now, y'all. I actually start class next week. I got accepted into the University of British Columbia.
Shout out to you, Mike.
It's a certificate program. It's a certificate in real estate valuation, and the first class is actually real estate statistics. That's the first class I'm starting next week. But I'm looking for projects right now. That's actually not a bad idea, Kamar, because that's something I can build out in Excel. But what I need for everybody watching right now, you don't even need Python for that. You can do that in Excel.
Relax.
Listen, I've been doing a lot of VOD coding lately, so I can, Anyway, with that being said, for those watching, give us a hashtag for today's show for our giveaway. And remember, it should be hashtag all this math. That's our brother's hashtag, man.
Well, that's a little long. That's why, people don't like the long stuff, man.
That's what she said. Listen.
Oh, God.
Listen. So, give it.
I see. I heard it. I seen it.
Yeah,
I seen it.
as soon as I said it.
It's like a zenith.
All right. So, a couple more ideas, man. Hashtag all this math. She says real math. I see. Look, Jarrell is he's part of the program. We got to use all this math, man. We got to use all this math as the hashtag.
Can I add something in?
Yes.
If y'all are still using the Lolly app, y'all still use that?
I do.
To get sats.
Mm-hmm.
So every day, what I do is I calculate how many sats is equal to $1.
Mm-hmm.
For example, yesterday I earned 46 sats, which is equivalent to 4 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So then with that information, I can figure out how many sats is equal to $1. And it's just like this practice I've been doing just to kind of track, like unofficially, like the value of.
So do you use ZB app?
Nah, what's that?
Come on, I put you down with this years ago, man. You know how many sats you missed out on, man? I'm gonna text it to you.
Yeah, please do.
So it's similar to Lolly in the sense that you can get like free sats every day or whatever. But within that application, they have an actual Satoshi to dollar calculator that is real time. So you can always see what $1 equals in terms of Satoshis, like in real time. It's built in. Not to take away from what you did. I got you.
Yeah,
By the way, for those in the village, if you go to the Stack Sats of Die Trying little drop down joint, it's an actual long list of everything that I use in terms of stacking sats. And it's free, right? You don't have to be a paid member to get that. It's absolutely free. It gives you everything, all the exchanges I use, all the applications for games, all the free joints. So I've actually put pen to pad and did that. So the hashtag is all this math. If you want to be put in today's giveaway, where we are giving away, and I know someone's going to do it for me. Usually Jamil does it, gives me what the breakdown is, $25 in Satoshis, what it is in dollars and cents. If you win, go to your Cash App, right? Click on Bitcoin. Click receive. You'll see a QR code. You tap that QR code. It will give you a Lightning address. Go into the village and you send me your Lightning address, and then you get the Satoshis. You get paid tonight. Got to be in the village. And Kamari, how do people join our village, Kamari?
Go to www.blackwealthrebels.com.
That's how I know you're an old man. When people always still go back to the www.
Yeah, that's
you gotta be a man of a certain age to say www.
Don't age slander me, sir. Don't age slander.
No, it's not ageism. It's not ageism. It's just an observation.
That's ageism.
It's just an observation. So Jamil puts it out here right now that $25 right now is 27,728 sats. But appreciate that. My man said www. I'm surprised you say HTTP. Colon forward slash.
Yes, forward slash. Absolutely.
Oh man.
So Jamel, we touched on this earlier, right? About
are you talking to Akil or Jamil? Because you said
excuse
Jamil.
me, Akil. Thank you, Jamil.
Okay. All right.
But I know there was slander there. But thank
no slander because Jamil's in the chat and Jamil's in the chat and Akil's with us. But
Akil, since Jimmy wants to talk about my age, since I'm a little older than him and he's my young boy. How can I keep my brain sharp using math?
So one of the things that I recommend is license plate games. I'm glad you asked that. So when you're driving, look at the license plate of the car in front of you and take each digit and do multiplication from left to right. Now for the letters though, what I do is the first letter I see, I replace that with a 1. The second letter I see, I replace it with a 2. Third letter I see, I replace it with a 3. It's actually one of the chapters in my book discusses that license plate games. So the multiplication when the numbers get big, like into like 3 digit by like 1 digit, you know what I mean? Like that's when it gets a little interesting. You get to challenge yourself, and like I talked about earlier with fluency, part of fluency is flexibility in terms of strategies. So you can like try those strategies, but that's one thing you do, like multiplying the digits, one at a time. So like, 1 times, if it's 3 letters, 1 times 2 is 2, then 2 times that product times the next digit, which would be 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And then take that 6, multiply by the next digit. If it's a 7, then you're doing 6 times 7, that's 42, and so on and so forth. You could do addition, you could do subtraction. If you got young children, like kindergarten, first grade, definitely good for like getting them to learn their addition and subtraction facts. And also with the subtraction facts, you get into the negative numbers. So you can introduce that early because inevitably you're going to get into the negative side of the number line. So that's another thing. Because children typically aren't introduced to the negative numbers until what I think is too late. They get it too late. I think they should get introduced to negative numbers as soon as they're introduced to the positive numbers. That's what I
got. In your book, show us that again. And where can we find that at, Akil?
Yeah, so right now it's available on Amazon right now.
Okay. How to use all this math.
Yeah, volume 1. How to use all this math, volume 1. I gotta, discipline myself to sit down and actually write out volume 2. I got the outline done. I just gotta actually write the actual content.
Now I'm not gonna buy mine off Amazon. No, I need to get it from you. So okay. Get an autograph joint.
Okay.
Because I know it's going to be worth a couple of dollars in a couple of years.
So I got a couple things, right? Well, one to answer your question, Kamari, you can if you want to stay sharp, right? Start tracking all the donations you make to Midnight Ballerinas, right? And you can keep track of that. That's how you work on your math skills, right? Now, the second thing is
I just learned the term by watching you, sir.
All right, so now the next thing, Akil, is this though. And this is a real question too, because I want to know at what age do you introduce math in general, right? Like, do you have to wait till they can just they can just fully read anything? Like, what's the age, the earliest that you should introduce math into a kid's life?
As soon as possible.
So like, I homie
having
Jarrell's in the chat. He just had a baby. His baby's like a month old at this point, right? So the question is, when does he start to introduce his young one to math?
So I would say, like, just like how they say, Amos Wilson talked about this in Developmental Psychology of the Black Child. Like, even the conversations that you have when the child is in utero, like they absorb that, some kind of way. So I would say, like, even for 1 month old, just having mathematical conversations with, people, with people around the child, with, the child's mother, his wife, siblings, just having mathematical conversations. And then once they start like talking, then that's what I would say. As soon as they start talking, start communicating,
go crazy then.
Yeah, just start with the counting the numbers, and you might not want to introduce the negative numbers right. Well, I mean, you got to kind of figure it, kind of tell if they're ready for that, because negative numbers is very conceptual. The absence of value, or owing. Debt is a great way to express negative values. And also, don't, like, for the parents watching this, like, don't worry about getting it wrong. Don't try to be perfect, because the schools aren't perfect. They seem like they're perfect, but they're not. They're far from perfect, and what you try one day may not work with your child, but then you go back to the drawing board and you figure out what does work, and especially if you got multiple children, each of your children, you might have to differentiate your instruction for your children, because your children might have different learning styles. And it's okay. It's totally fine. But the difference is, it's kind of like investing. When you start investing early, your time horizon is different. So you start investing for a child when they're like a newborn. That's very different than saying, okay, my child is 17 and going to college next year. Let me start investing now. That's very different.
Absolutely.
You got time. So same
thing
with education.
Time is a variable. Yeah.
Yeah. With education, like, you start that process very early. You have time. You actually have time to mess up.
So let me ask you a question. Have you ever watched the TV show Numbers?
I have. Yeah, I used to watch that with the guy from Northern Exposure. He was his older brother.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Like, them getting heavy in the math to solve murders and stuff like that.
It's cool. I think we need something like that, though. I think we definitely need something because shows like that are like cool for me, because I'm a little oriented toward the math. But I think also, like, low key, sometimes what shows do is it's another example of like white people doing math. And unless we're having the conversations with the young brothers and young sisters about the fact that, like, no, math is for us too, then they may internalize that, and it becomes confirmation that, like, math is not for us. So we got to have those explicit conversations, because that's like a subtle example of how, we're like programmed to stay away from math, because it's like, okay, we got like Big Bang Theory is like that. I always think about Big Bang Theory. So think about Big Bang Theory. They're all scientists. One's a physicist. You got biologists. Nuclear physicists.
The only
whatever.
person of color is the Indian guy.
Yeah, and then what I
mean? I always think about this, right? To that point, we kind of shy away from math. We shy away from the scientists. But we birthed and created all that shit. So we created math. We created science, but we don't want to dominate it. We don't want to own it. And
hey, listen, man.
It's kind of sad.
It's funny because there's another one like this. It's a show called Prime Target. It's on Apple TV, and it's about math too. I don't know if you've seen that one, Kill. It's fairly new.
What's it called? You said Prime Target?
Prime Target. Yeah, it's on Apple TV, but it's about math. Like, it's literally about math. But it's a series. It's like a thriller. It's one of the reasons why I like watching the TV show Watson with Morris Chestnut, because he's super smart and he's running the whole joint, like, you know what I mean? But it's a brother, like, So I get your point though.
Yeah, but that's one of them like things we gotta be mindful of. Gotta have those explicit conversations,
So Jamil says, I'm not even reading all that. Lonnie Shabazz work on a uranium project that was interconnected with the Manhattan Project.
He might have. I know. I think if not him, there was a Dr. David Blackwell, who was a young, at the time went to University of Chicago. He was a very young PhD. I'm pretty sure he worked on the Manhattan Project. Maybe both of them did.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That wouldn't shock me. Jarrell says, my oldest, 3 and 4, got excited seeing Kwame do it, so they wanted to do it. And they like seeing someone that looks like them doing it. There you go.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
There we go. Yeah.
And Kwame's excited. Kwame's excited about doing the math.
So listen, we're about to pull the trigger.
Yo, we got nobody in today. Where everybody at, man?
Yeah,
We got way more.
We
We
only
got
got
way
6
more.
entries.
All right, leave it up here for wait 1 more minute. Everybody who
They
hasn't got in
don't
yet.
want no money, man.
We got way more people watching though. So I'm saying get in hashtag all this math, hashtag all this math, hashtag all this math. Yeah. That's how you get in, and we're gonna do our giveaway, man. But this has been excellent, man. Every time we get a chance to build with a Kill is super dope, man. Kill, we gotta get you. We gotta try to field to create some content with us, man. You gotta come out on the 16th or the 7th, one of them joints.
Let me check. I'm gonna check the calendar.
Yeah, I know the 6th. Come out on the 16th. That's a Friday evening as well. Goldie the Pretty Tony, 3,500. Can you afford that? Hey, come on, I don't know, dog. I rewatched them both, man. I don't know. Superfly or the Mac, dog. I think the Mac might got it beat, dog.
The Mac is classic.
I mean,
I got the Mac on VHS in the basement.
Listen, man, the Mac might have Superfly beat.
I like themes on both of them. I think both of them get they get a bad rap, but they both was about escaping the man, getting out from under, doing what they wanted to do, and getting to a level of freedom. Now the means might have not been the best. However,
I ain't gonna lie to you though. I really like the new Superfly, and people get mad when I say that.
Now wait a minute. I said that to you. You clown me.
I didn't clown. I would never clown you about that. I love. Hey, come on, dog. He was collecting Bitcoin. What you mean?
That's what I mean when I say you be lying.
Go back and watch the tape. I never said.
You would never clown me. You would never clown me.
Not on that. Not on that. I got so many things to clown you about. Never on that. He was stacking Bitcoin. Like it's a Bitcoin movie.
Listen, Michael K. Williams is in it. You know, scattered. So,
man, rest in power.
Dr. Chaz, retype that in. I don't think we got it, or maybe it did.
Yeah, hashtag all this math, y'all. For those that haven't got in, hashtag all this math. In 60 seconds, we'll be getting ready to pull the trigger and getting out of here for the evening, man.
Siri, give me a 60-second calendar.
Let's see. Look at that. Look at all the math taking place right there, man. For you to be able to ask your phone, you know.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jarrell. Thank you, Jarrell. But Jarrell watches our content, so Jarrell knows what the truth is. I appreciate that, Jarrell.
Jarrell, we're gonna make you the newest historian of the Black Belt Rebels.
We gotta spit truth to power, man. You know what I'm saying?
I think Jarrell
went and watched the masculine economics. We made that video because of Jarrell, man. And if you haven't seen that video, Kill, go back there and check. We made a video. It's called Masculine Economics. I think you would appreciate that one, man. You know.
Is it related to like boy math or boy math?
No. So we're talking about this idea this gentleman had on social media where he came up with this whole idea of how to improve the community and what he calls masculine economics. You know, so
I'm digging y'all. I'm digging those thumbnails y'all got too.
Appreciate that.
So listen, I gotta give Jimmy credit on that. Jimmy did the math on that.
I'm working, man. I appreciate it, Kamari. Thank you, man. You always slander me, so I appreciate the compliment.
The brother got a shiesty on that.
Yeah. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. So Jamil says Superfly was a booger sugar movie. Willie Dynamite was the best movie.
Oh, Willie Dynamite is classic. I got that on DVD. He was trying to
go ahead.
What is it? What you call them? Midnight ballerinas. They were trying to organize. They were trying to unionize.
They were.
Never thought about it that way.
Yeah, they were trying to unionize. They were trying to have a union.
They try to do it here in Philly.
Wow. And that's the brother from Sesame Street. That's Gordon.
I gotta go back. Where's Willie Dynamite? Where can I find it? Is it on YouTube? That's how you find some of them joints.
Oh, wait a minute. You talking about the movie? I thought you talking about real life. Because that did happen in real life. They try to organize.
I didn't know that.
See, the only problem with that is it's going to be very difficult to do that because they'll union bust, right? You're always going to find someone else who wants to be a midnight ballerina.
That's true.
It's called supply and demand, also math.
Surplus value equation.
There you go. Yes, sir. Goldie was truly a great haven. He false served Tony because he ain't checked $1 out of China doll. All right, Jamil is over here doing the knowledge right now, man. He's doing the knowledge. All right, I gotta go find Willie Dynamite online, man. It's got to be on YouTube. It's got to be on YouTube, man. Willie Dynamite. All right, y'all. How many we got now? Come on, we get 10 yet?
We got 7. God's number 7.
Yeah, we got way more than people watching than that. Oh, Willie
Listen,
Dynamite.
Cookie,
Here we go.
y'all know Cookie cuts me out. So listen, we got God's number, we got Rob's number, so we can just go ahead and rock.
Willie Dynamite is in fact on YouTube. Salute to you, Jamil. You gave me some evening activities. You know what I'm saying? Little Willie Dynamite. You know. All right, y'all. So we only listen. We got a one. Listen, this math. You have a 1 in 7 chance of winning.
Hold up, this is my shit. Willie, you ain't got no vision. You gotta collective eyes. Never seen that old movie, but that clip.
Oh, that's the dude that be doing the hand gestures like this.
Yeah.
With the long nails. Yeah. That's, I remember that scene.
Got no vision.
Oh my god.
All right, well, we about to spend y'all.
Hey, listen, man, you got a 1 in 7 chance. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
What's that, like 14.2%?
Divided by 7. That's all I know. I can't do all that math.
And the winner is Jamil with the dub. Jamil. Hey, Jamil, listen, man, you deserve to win, man, because you brought Willie Dynamite back to the culture, man. So, go to the village right now, Jamil. Send it to me. I'll get you paid ASAP. ASAP. For everybody out there, man, Akil, how can they follow you online, man? What's the place that they can follow you online, beloved?
So definitely go to YouTube. Definitely go to All This Math on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe and share. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, All This Math. And also check out my website. I just updated my website, allthismath.com.
Nice.
Check me out.
There you go. Allthismath.com, y'all. Please make sure y'all support our brother Akil. We don't have too many mathematicians that look like us, especially ones that are in the community that are rooted in with our folks in our community. So make sure we try to help amplify this brother anytime we get the opportunity to. Definitely got to have you back, man. We got to get you to come out on the 16th if you can, man, because that's going to be it's going to be a math conversation, really, because what we're talking about, and it's us, it's our sister Courtney, our sister Elizabeth. We're talking about home ownership rates and how me, Courtney, and Kamari were talking earlier and came across a statistic that said that basically in 2008, the Great Recession, from a home ownership standpoint, it set Black Americans back 50 years. 50 years. It set us back 50 years, yo. 2004, we were at an all-time high in terms of home ownership rates for Black Americans. And once 2008 came, the rates went all the way back to where we were in the 60s. Crazy. So, the whole saying, like when some people get a cold, we get the flu.
Yeah.
That was proof positive of that. Because, and again, this goes into also hystematics, right? If you look into the reason why it happened, is because when you talk about subprime mortgages, who was more than likely to have a subprime mortgage? Boom. So that's also a math equation, by the way. But yeah, go check out All This Math on YouTube. Go to allthismath.com. Follow our brother everywhere you can. TikTok, wherever you find him at. If he's on Christian Mingle, follow him there too.
Stop it.
I'm on the road to 10K. I'm at
there you go.
8.5. Oh, for the parents, when your children are on YouTube, you can teach them scientific notation by looking at the amount of subscribers, the subscriber count. For example, so I'm at 8.55K. So the K stands for 1,000. So you would have your children do 8.55 times 1,000. So that's going to be 8,550 approximately, because it's between 8,550 and 8,559. Because once it goes up to 8,560, it'd be 8.56K.
Yep.
But even that's a math lesson. Oftentimes children may not get introduced to scientific notation until a certain point, but in school, but they don't have to wait for that. They can learn it in the comfort of their own home with you. So use YouTube to, deal with scientific notation, introduce that concept, have them practice with that. Also find out like averages, like slope. We talked about y equals mx plus b. The m is the slope. What's the average views per year? So if somebody has a video that has 20 million views, then you go to the date or how many years it's been since it was uploaded.
So use social media to teach.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, Lorraine, shout out to Lorraine. Lorraine just texted me this video. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this guy. This guy, Devin Loves Numbers. It's a little 3-year-old. He doing math. You ever seen him before?
I think I have. His name sounds familiar.
I'm gonna send it to you right now. I just got this from Lorraine. This is super dope.
Yeah, he be with his dad, right?
Yeah, for this video I'm watching now, he on the whiteboard getting busy.
Yeah.
Yo, he's 3 years old. Damn. Anyway, that's super dope, man. Listen, we appreciate y'all. Yeah, but got everybody look out for everything we got going. We're gonna put the flyers and everything in the village before it hits like our social feed. So if you're in the village, you'll see. We appreciate everybody in the village. We'll keep building. I got some like full-fledged classes that I'm working out. So these are going to be super dope. One is about the wheel strategy. The other one is the Bitcoin master class. Is becoming pretty long video. So I'm cutting it up in pieces. With that being said, though, we love y'all. BlackWealthRebels.com. We will see you guys next week sometime, but be on the lookout for another video in the village tomorrow. And every day after that. We'll keep creating, y'all.
Absolutely.
Black Queens forever. And Kill, appreciate you, brother, man. Appreciate you as always, man.
Let's get free, y'all.
I love hanging out, man.
Absolutely.